everyone. We have to cover Pudgy Penguins here because this thing is down 10% in the last 24 hours. That's terrible, but we're going to go over this. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice. But yeah, let's just say I predicted this, guys. I've been talking about this for the longest. But anyways, let's get right into it. We've been going through a rising wedge here, which is a bearish pattern. So that's why I've been so bearish on this, because I just go by the system that I have here, which is just a mixture of chart patterns, support areas, Fibonacci's, and trends, volume, price action. Like, I don't really do anything too complicated. So one of the main things I use, like I always say, are these chart patterns here. So like I said, this is the rising wedge. It's a bearish pattern. So that's why I went bearish here. And not only that, on the percent return exhaustion, we were also at an overbought area when we started to top out up here, right? And I'm like, how can we be overbought when we're at the top of this pattern? Well, that's because it's about to go down to the bottom of the pattern, and it's also a bearish pattern. So it makes sense that it would be overbought at the top of a bearish pattern. Like, listen to what I'm saying. It's overbought at the top of a bearish pattern, which means it's coming down, right? So that's pretty much what I was expecting here. And you know, sometimes it can stay overbought and actually continue upwards, right? And that's why you always have to leave some room for error here. But you know, thankfully it did not continue to go up. In, well, not thankfully, but thankfully for people who are trying to short, I guess, but which is me. I was shorting yesterday inside the stock market on Meta, but I was betting against everything going down, and I was pretty much right. And yeah, so like I was saying, you know, even if a pattern is bullish, for an example, let me come over here and show you Meta. We're trading in a bear market right now. We're in a bear market right now. People don't notice, but we're entering a bear market, because when you look at the S&P 500, it's holding up, it's keeping up, but it's almost at that point of breaking down. And that's what a lot of people are starting to notice, right? And when you start to look at stocks, you start to realize what I'm saying. Like, this is Meta. I was actually trading Meta yesterday doing puts. But as you can see here, this is an ascending triangle. Ascending triangles are bullish. But when you enter a bullish pattern from a downtrend, now it's more likely to be bearish when you enter that bullish pattern from a downtrend. So an ascending triangle is bullish. We came into Meta yesterday, and I got in like right here because I was like, yeah, it's probably going to end up breaking soon. But then it ended up pumping and then going down, but I stayed in because I knew it was going to continue down. But then I got out a little early before I could benefit from not that, like all this right here. Before I could benefit from all that, I got out early because I didn't know if it was going to continue upwards. But you can never tell 100%. But when you are in a bear market, kind of like how we are now, like, it's a little bit different. You look at everything is kind of doing decent if it's like a top technology stock, but most things are not doing that well. Like, we have the S&P 500 doing good, right? But we don't have most things doing well. But what I will say here, coming up next inside of Pudgy Penguins here, I think that we could get a relief rally, right? Like a short-term pump here. And the reason why I think that is because we're pretty oversold here on Pudgy Penguins, for one. And for two, when you look at all the selling pressure here on the MACD on the hourly chart, it looks like it's about to actually start going bullish pretty soon. Like, that's a lot of selling pressure. Eventually, the buying pressure has to come back in. Percent R trend exhaustion completely bottomed out here. Now, can it stay oversold for longer? Yes, it's done it before. So that is definitely possible. But I think that we're going to get a temporary push up to this top area around 0.0114. And probably trying to get back into here using this right here as our resistance, like somewhere around this area right here, using that as our resistance, or right above it, somewhere around here, and then getting rejected at this area up here. So just look at the numbers. I know I'm saying this area, but you can just look at the numbers on the side because there's too many numbers to say. So, you know, kind of a small trade-off you got to get for this information, right? But anyways, moving on from the 1 hour chart, we can come over here to the 4 hour. Now, this is an interesting thing because what happened last time we seen something like this, we bottomed out with a short-term trend and then we came right back pumping again. Something like that could possibly happen, right? Where we bottom out and then we come back pumping again. But we're getting at a point here where something's gotta give, right? Something has got to give, right? And that's what everyone is really waiting for. I think that this long term trend here is going to continue to sell off, and the short term trend, and I think a lot of people are thinking like the crypto market has to recover, stocks have to recover, and that's the problem. People keep thinking that things have to recover just because they do a 25% 25% interest rate cut, because that's what they literally just now did. And people were talking about how this is going to make everything pump. I went against that narrative yesterday when I was shorting, and I'm glad I did. But it's still a possibility that we could have a little bit more sell off before we get the next pump, right? So I do think another pump is coming, but I feel like a little more sell off, a little bit more, right? And I still haven't seen my target price on Pudgy Penguins of 0.008, and that was really where I was trying to buy at. Now, would I buy a little higher? Yes, but let's now look at the daily chart. When you look at the daily chart, this is a lot different. The short-term trend broke far past the long-term trend. That is super bearish. That's super bearish because once the short-term trend comes down, the price is going down huge. You just seen a 10% drop. That is nothing compared to what is about to happen. Yeah, we just had a 10% drop, as you can see here in Pudgy Penguins. 10%. I think there's going to be an even bigger drop. And a lot of people are not prepared for it, but I am. But anyways, look, this is a rising wedge. So, it's a bearish pattern. So we knew it was going to be bearish. But anyways, let's see how far that is down to 0.008. That is about 28%. 28% coming down here to 0.00. It's all right, 27% going down to 0.008. So that's a 27% drop. We just had a 10% drop, and then we can drop a whole another 27 down. And we could go lower than that too. But when we were talking about solid support bases, we're looking at 0.008 as that next solid support. And then after that, we got 0.006. So I expect Pudgy Penguins to drop another 27% pretty soon. So don't say I didn't warn you. Is it possible that it doesn't do this? Yes, anything's possible. It's possible that it starts pumping out of nowhere. This is just my belief, and it has just broken this bearish pattern downwards. So I'm just expecting even more selling pressure. So it's just the system that I have created for me. So works for me, might not work for you. Let's see if it works out here. So anyways, this is all I got for you guys today. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. No, none of this is financial advice. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. As always, I'll be back with another video.